Welcome to Banished. It's a new game that, well, it's not a new game. It just came out on Steam. So basically the idea is create your own village and try to survive as long as you can. So a lot of people have obviously had problems with this. I most particularly have had problems with it. Survival is very difficult. I'll just put that out there. So anyways, my previous town was dying. Oh, I already deleted it. Good. So we'll start a new one. And we'll see how long I can live for. New fields board, sure. And map seeds. Let's click it 10 times, see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've set the terrain size to large, so if I do actually do well, we can make something pretty huge. Starting conditions are medium. If I go easy, you start with a huge amount of stuff. You can probably live for an extremely long time without actually having to create much production. With medium, you might be able to live maybe one winter. And with hard, well, you're pretty much screwed unless you're an expert. So most people will be starting on medium. And if I do succeed, then I'm sort of giving a little bit of a guide as well. We can keep disasters on, not that I've really ever encountered any. The climate will be fair, so we'll have a winter cycle and a summer cycle. If I set it to harsh, we're basically almost in perpetual winter. We can still harvest and stuff. We still have a bit of a summer, but we'll be burning through fuel much faster than we need to. Large, I said. Why? And mountains just creates a whole bunch of problems with having to basically tunnel through them. We'll get to that when it becomes important, but we'll start with new fields born and see what we get. See how far we get. This is actually going to be a real test for me, alright? Waiting. So anyways, we're procedurally generating our world. Now that's done. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here's my river that I'm going to need to connect to in order to actually do some trade. It's through a mountain, which sort of, well, I can access it here, so we're good. Also access it around here. Geez, large worlds are large. Usually when I play, I'm using a medium world. So here, this will be where we start build a field here. I'm just gonna sort of plan everything out in my mind, but a lot of it's gonna be make up as we go. Let me just make sure I'm recording because this is the first time that I've actually used this as actually used fraps in this. Okay, so we're good to go, I guess. Okay, I think that's a pretty good plan. So, first thing we're going to want to do is, these guys are voracious eaters all the time. So, start by creating yourself. There's several different ways I can do this. You know, let's actually listen to the wiki for once and start with a gatherer's hut. Well, I wanna... No. I'll start with crops, anyway. Upside of crops is start producing right away. Or create the food limit of 5,000. But 4 workers on it. What do I start with? Pumpkin and wheat. Well, wheat it is then. What made Winnipeg the not so rich but still the breadbasket of yes, here. Breadbasket of Canada. So we got Manitoba, there's breadbasket. Sorry, I'm screwing up. So we got these roads here. So not that don't necessarily do much with this sort of distance, but do want to get this going. Roads, dirt roads don't cost anything. Once you start getting into stone roads, it's pretty hectic, and expensive. So now that we have that up, I'm actually going to create a larger, well, nah, I won't create the second stockpile yet. Since these guys are such voracious eaters, we will actually start creating a second crop field early. We'll think about making an orchard, but that will be more of a later thing that we'll add after we have some good production. So let's get started then. So we're actually going to speed things up a bit for me here. Actually, quite a bit. One of the things that does happen is they will actually what do you call it? They will usually out-eat themselves. And once they become 40, they no longer reproduce, so you have to keep everything going. And the reason why I'm doing pumpkin and wheat is because the better their, I guess, diet is, or more diverse it is, the more healthy they will be. So one of the things that I'm actually going to be keeping up all the time is the log here. This will show me basically how everybody's doing. So you guys can sort of read it while I'm doing this, and yell at me if I'm forgetting something or not seeing something. We have right here is obviously the name. Any sort of thing here will show basically the citizens' needs. Snowflake means they're too cold. House means they don't have a home. And the fork and knife means they're hungry. Here you'll see the season and the year. With a year, they don't age 1 year with each year. They age about 5 times as fast. So, for example, in 5 years, this person, people that are at breeding age is about 10, will no longer be able to, because once they're 40 plus, they can still work, surprisingly. They're at the same efficiency, but they can't have children. So 10 adults, students, children in order up here. You'll have to be watching this at probably 7:20 in order to see all the statistics. The current weather, followed by the current temperature, is shown there. The amount of stored logs, the amount of stored stone, the iron, firewood, coal, stored tools, stored clothes, stored medicine, and of course stored food. This is going to be the number that we're going to have to pay really close attention to. Then the average health, the average happiness. Health and happiness has to be generally high in order for them to have children. And then our amount of stored alcohol. I'm going to be surprised if we actually make it to alcohol because alcohol uses food in order to be produced. So what we would have to have is a generally high surplus of food for me to choose to do that. But we'll see where we go. So we'll get these guys going. We got 8 people on that. And instead of creating a house, the first thing I'm actually going to create is a boarding house. The upside of the boarding house is it is, I guess, a cheaper housing. I can house everybody probably by just setting up one boarding house. Now, this doesn't give them the ability to produce, but it does give them the ability in order to stay warm during the winter as long as there is a sufficient amount of firewood. There are 2 things that citizens need in order to survive. The first and most important is housing, actually, and firewood. Because firewood will keep them warm enough that they can survive through the winter and sometimes during summer. In addition to that, we also have food, which we'll have to keep a very close eye on. Why did that go down? I probably accidentally out-tabbed it. I'm going to try and keep that up there, but it might be difficult for me because I like my real estate. I like to see what's going on, so I'll just get back to it here. I'm going to assign some people who designated builders. Assign one person to be a designated builder, I guess. When they're not working, they become laborers, which basically means they take stuff, move it around, build if they have the ability to do so. This person's just sort of walking off into the woods. It's all good. The reason why well, about 70%. Apparently, this is close to a medieval society, and in a medieval society, about 70% of people were farmers, and we're gonna try keep it like that. 70% of people were basically required in order to find the food for the everywhere. You'll see random trees fall over. Well, let's actually start working on some additional food sources. Okay, good, that's getting close. Out here, what do we actually... Well, we need resources, so actually build into... We're going to be building out that way. But I really want to see some fish. It's easy to get, you know, minimal resources in order to build it. And it works throughout the winter, so. Dock is a good starting thing. Now, where you see this circle here is basically what it's going to be fishing from. If you have several docks together, you'll be using up, apparently due to overfishing, you'll actually start creating less food from each individual dock. And I thought maybe I might want to get around it, but I tried it once. You'll actually get less food from all the docks in total. So it doesn't balance out to be like be the same amount of food if you have two docks side by side. It will actually create less food than if you were to just have the one dock there. Because, and you have a lot of your workers working on trying to do it. You know what, you stop going there. You don't need to do it. Yeah, we'll just pause the construction of that. We need the house first. Or rather the boarding house first. Oh crap. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, that was a texture break. That's the first time I've actually encountered that problem. So we'll just load this. Hopefully that would have solved the problem. It's the first time I've actually had a texture break inside this game, which is disappointing. So yeah. If that happens again, I'm really gonna have to seriously consider whether I should actually record this. Because, as you probably know, most of recording for YouTube is based on, I guess, visual quality. You're watching, you're not necessarily playing, so. So, come on, hurry up. Winter is coming. Early autumn. They're harvesting the wheat, and the pumpkins are starting to be taken care of too. I'm surprised we haven't exhausted our potatoes yet. Apparently each citizen eats about 100 food. Come on. Don't get this done quick, we might be in some real trouble. We still have quite a bit of resources we can work with. We have 200 firewood, that's pretty good. That will probably let us get through the winter if they can finish this boarding house in time. Ooh, crap. Come on, yes, okay. So we got a home for everybody. They'll eventually realize that. And that icon will go away. But the work cannot stop.